Vice-Chancellor and President, it is a great privilege to present to you our honorary graduand, Gillian Moore. For over 3 decades, across a succession of leadership roles at the London Sinfonietta and the South Bank Centre, Gillian has been a beacon of fearless musical exploration and a catalyst for creativity from community grassroots to the very peak of the profession. Her innovations in programming and education and her constant challenging of inequity in the arts continue to shape the cultural life of our capital and our country. Time and again, her work has demonstrated that the cutting edge and the world leading are no barriers to inclusion. As such, she is a tireless advocate for an integrated, publicly funded arts education structure in which excellence is celebrated, supported, and bound together within active, creative communities where participation in the arts is a part of life regardless of social or economic circumstances. These attitudes, I am sure, resonate with us here, and this should be no surprise. Gillian was a student at York in the 1980s, and she has spoken of the impact of the radical, experimental atmosphere fostered by John Painter and others in the music department at that time. Approaches which we are proud to continue in our new School of Arts and Creative Technologies. Certainly, the radical and the experimental have been a continuous thread through Gillian's career, in which she has been an indefatigable champion for new music. Her support for composers, both emerging and established, is legendary, with the success of initiatives such as the Blue Touch Paper scheme, which helped launch the careers of composers such as Dai Fujikura and Anna Meredith, sitting alongside the extraordinary and extraordinarily long list of artists she has commissioned. Elliot Carter, Gerard Grisey, Unsuk Chin, Tansy Davis, Harrison Birtwistle, Judith Weir. I could fill my allotted time just listing the music that Gillian has shepherded into the world. And while this commitment to the creation of new art is crucial, it is to Gillian's skill as a communicator that composers like myself owe a huge debt. As a writer on music and a frequent contributor to BBC Radio 3, Gillian shares her passion with the general public. As a panelist on industry and governmental panels, she fights our corner where priorities are being set. But most of all, she leads the way as an innovator in programming which reaches new audiences. Gillian has always had a keen sense for meaningful connections that bridge boundaries, developing projects which link contemporary music to visual art, architecture, film, dance, and electronica. Perhaps the most celebrated results of this has been her collaborations with Warp Records, in which Aphex Twin, Mira Calix, and Square Pusher rubbed shoulders with Ligeti, Reich, Nan Caro, and Cage. But this is just one example among many. These hallmarks of bringing challenging music of the highest quality to the widest possible audience go right back to the start of Gillian's career, where in 1983 she was appointed Education Officer at the London Sinfonietta. This was the first position of its kind in this country, and she was therefore a pioneer of artistic outreach. In particular, an approach in which participatory creativity is at the heart of learning, an approach which, not coincidentally, is also the basis for our teaching here at York. Aware of the limited reach of the Sinfonietta's programming, Gillian sent composers and performers into schools and prisons to create new work based on the orchestra's repertoire with, as she characterizes it, missionary zeal. A typically uncompromising approach, and a challenge for the artists who were developing new skills on the fly, but 4 decades on, it still serves as the model for performing arts education programs across the sector. That it should be prisons as well as schools to which Gillian sent the Sinfonietta's composers and instrumentalists points to her long-standing commitment to inclusivity in the arts to breaking down barriers and addressing inequality. Chi-Chi Nwanaku credits Gillian with catalysing the formation of Chineke, Europe's first majority black and ethnically diverse professional orchestra. Initiatives such as the South Bank Centre's Women in Music programs continue to address the gender imbalance through performing, mentoring, and networking opportunities. While the challenges in the contemporary artistic sphere are significant, Gillian nevertheless reminds us that artistic experience can touch and move and change people as long as the arts have quality and authenticity and are delivered with commitment and without compromise. Quality, authenticity, commitment without compromise. If we here strive for this in all our fields, then how many people will we touch and move and change? Vice-Chancellor and President, for her advocacy of the music of our time, for her pioneering development of participatory music education, and her tireless pursuit of inclusivity and the creation of and access to excellence in music and all the arts, it is with great pleasure that I present to you Gillian Moore for the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
Through the power vested in me by the University of York, I have immense pleasure in conferring upon you the award of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor, and thank you so much, Martin, for those very, very generous words. It's a great joy to be honoured by this university in this way. It's more than 40 years, has been said, since I arrived here as a 21-year-old postgraduate to read for a master's in the music department. It seemed to me then, as of course it is now, a thrilling place full of talented and interesting people, and that sense that Martin referred to of radical experimentation was just everywhere. But I spent quite a lot of that time feeling terrified. I'd come down from Glasgow, and it seemed to me that everybody here was from the south of England. Everybody was super confident, and everybody was talking with that, smooth delivery and big, loud voices, knowing what they thought about everything, and they seemed to know where they were going. That wasn't the case, of course, I'm sure. Maybe they even thought the same about me. But I managed to suppress my fear for the time I was here. I worked very hard. I made some wonderful friends, and I joined in lots of performances. I just played music all the time. The music department was, as I know it is now, a place where the actual practical thing of making music was paramount, and that was very exciting for me. And I took advantage also of everything that the university had to offer. I remember in this very place seeing some amazing art house films for the first time, because it was a fantastic film club here. But there were structural challenges as well. I remember being baffled and confused, actually, even in 1980, that I was the only female postgraduate in quite a large cohort in the music department, and there were absolutely no women on the staff either. So I know that's different now, but it was, even then, it kind of took me aback. But nonetheless, I used my fantastic experiences here at York to give me the confidence to go on to an even scarier place, London, and find my way there. I'm really aware that many of you graduating today have had a very different experience than that which I had and my generation had here. You will have spent, because of the pandemic, at least the early time of your years here, behind screens on your own, denied that collegiality and the chance encounters and the informal learning from your teachers and from each other, and much of the social life that we all expect from being a student. But you have done it, you're here today, and I reckon if you can do this, you can do anything. My admiration for your generation is enormous. So massive congratulations to all of you, and I wish you all the best with my great thanks for the future. Thank you.